everyone, welcome at my solo podcast from Studio Rumah Manis. I'm Jorinde, and in this podcast I will share my experience, my thoughts, my vision and my philosophy about life on earth. I will share my experience during my yoga practicing, my sound healing, guiding in Amsterdam, and everything that came through to me and everything where I'm going through in my personal journey. I hope I can inspire you and hopefully to share our stories together. Enjoy listening and stay sparklish. Hello everyone, welcome to this new episode from my solo podcast from Studio Rumah Manis. In this episode, I want to share my journey in sound healing and in yoga. And I think it's very nice to share, maybe to inspire you, or maybe you can find yourself in it, because it was a very special and deep journey. Well, actually, a couple of years ago, I thought I was started with yoga by practicing power yoga. For me, that was the most similar in my head, like Pilates. And I know Pilates already from years ago, so that feels the most safe to do. And I didn't know that there was a yoga like Nidra or Yin yoga or restorative yoga, or if there were any difference. But actually, I start my first yoga class was years earlier. I think in 2016, that school year. I was studying theater, and beside the sport classes we had, we also need to do some sport or movement clinic, how you call it. And the yoga practice was for 4 times. That was the only one I can do. That was fitting my schedule that time. So that was actually the first time. And when I'm thinking back or of what kind of yoga it was yoga nidra, because for the whole practice I was just laying down and that's it. And the teacher was walking around with a bell, very calming bell, that's sort of similar like a sound bowl. So that was actually the very, very first time I experienced yoga and actually also sounds. And every class, so every time, I fall asleep. And it was not in Amsterdam, so I need to travel back home to Amsterdam with a train. And actually, when I walk from my school to the train station, I felt myself so weird. But now, and a couple of years ago, I know what that feeling is. It's the chi flow that was flowing into my body, and my very deep relaxation that I actually never experienced like that. But now I knew it, and I really loved it actually. And the next day, in a couple of days, I still felt that after effects of the yoga nidra and the sound bell. So it was very, very nice and beautiful experience. And I didn't know that that was also an yoga. But actually, after that 4 times, I never looked back at yoga. But then during Corona time, there was opening a new studio close by my house, and there I start my yoga journey sort of again. I restart my yoga practice. Well, what I said first with power yoga, that was the most similar for me, like Pilates. But I didn't feel it at that moment. And then my sister said to me, yes, you have to do a yin yoga or restorative yoga. It's very calming. And there was already a sort of stress in my head, calming, doing a practice where you are calming down. So yeah, when I was tired, I was thinking, okay, I will do it. So on a Wednesday morning, I did a restorative yoga practice, and that was so new for me. It was very double because my mind was telling me no, this is weird, but my body was really appreciated, because restorative yoga, it's all about deep relaxation. You will stay in a pose for 10 till 20 minutes, so you can imagine that it's in this type, it has to be very calm and relaxed, so you can stay there for a longer time. And maybe the first classes I took, probably I fall asleep in between the classes, but everything what I learned then, everything was okay, and it was very focused on relaxation. And before, I was always focused on more and more and harder. And before, when I did something, a sport or something else, I really want to feel the pain, which sounds very crazy, but that was, I thought, what it has to be. But there it was a total different world for me. But in a way, I like it. My body liked it, but my mind didn't like it. So there was a little bit of, disconnected from the mind and the body. And the same feeling came back, the deep relaxation in my body. Like the couple of years ago when I did the yoga nidra with the bell at my theater school. So that same feeling come back, and it felt nice but also weird, because my body was really slowing down, and that was not my life, slowing down. So it was weird, and I felt myself very weird. And how do you say it? There was a disconnection, and that after effect was during a couple of days. So I felt myself a couple of days very disconnected, but I continue the practice actually every week on every Wednesday morning. And later I also start yin yoga. Also, my sister said yin yoga is also good for you to do. So I did that, and it was the same very positive experience. Everything was possible during the practice. I don't have to go harder or faster or something like that. Everything was able, but I didn't know that you need to feel a stretch in the body. Well, actually, when I'm looking back, I always felt a stretch in my body, also discomfortable. But during the sport classes I did before I practiced in yoga, it was for me okay to feel discomfort and sort of pain and push harder. So during the yin yoga classes, when I feel deep stretches and discomfort, it was sort of okay, and it felt also sort of safe for me because I know how to handle it. But last year, 1 year ago, I did my yin yoga teacher training, and there I heard and I learned that you need to feel that stretch, and it's okay to feel discomfort, and you actually go deeper into your practice, into your body, physical, emotionally, and more deeper. And that is also what I experienced during my yin yoga practices before I ever was feeling and thinking about the teacher training, I really go through the discomfort. Sometimes we stay in poses, of course, for a couple of minutes, and I stay there for all that minutes in discomfort. But it's not only the physical body that work. More than 3 years ago, my father passed away. So it was in grieving period, and my mother got sick directly with breast cancer. So it was a very intense part of my life. It was a very intense time, but I still practicing yin yoga twice a week, and that helps me to go through my things, but also actually before. And yin yoga really helps me to go through my grief periods, which was a very long time. Actually, you're grieving in phases, sometimes more, sometimes less. But that very deep grief period was for me around 1.5 years long, so very intense. But yin yoga helps me through that period. And because I didn't know that you need to feel the physical stretch, it was comfortable for me to feel discomfort. So I go through very deep parts of myself and situations that come across my paths in the past. My own behavior, my own vision on things, my own perspective. Actually very more deeper things. That was actually now also during the yin yoga practices, but also the sound healing practices. So where did I going through? Actually, during going through the discomfort every time, in the after effects, the mirror came in front of my face. So I really need to watch myself. And I know, and then I learned why things happen to me, because also my own behavior and what I was hoping for and my expectations in some situations. So with that experience, I can say about myself that yin yoga and sound healing, but yin yoga really helps me also to heal some parts. But heal, it's a very sensitive word, because I see a lot on the internet that people using healing, heal, etc. How can I explain it more clear without using the word heal? Well, what I say, the after effects of a yin yoga practice, the mirror came on front of my face. So I become aware of my own, let's say, mistakes. And sometimes we forget when we are in a situation that's with somebody or more people, we forgot to look at ourselves. What was my expectation? What was I hoping for or wishing for? And how did I act to the other or on the situation? And then you really become, or I become really aware of my own. And that is what yin yoga gave me in that period. So a lot of parts of my life I can really sort of end it. I can every hard situation in my life that came through in the after effects or during the yin yoga practice, and then in the end, when I came aware of my own behavior, acting, hoping, wishing, expectation, then I was able to give it in place and have a really, really deep peace with it. That is what I meant with healing, with heal. And during the yin yoga practice, once there was the teacher, she had a sound bowl, but I wasn't even very close to her. And she was using the bowl, and I really feel it from my crown to my toes, the sound and the vibration. So I was very flabbergasted, and later on I googled what it was, and then later I feel I want to do a workshop. I really want to know more about it, and later I found some nice courses, and so I did that, and later she used it more, and later I found on different schedules there was also a 1 hour sound healing practice. So I booked the class, and what happens every time, it was so magical. I was able to really deeper relax. I was open for it to go that very deep and really traveling into myself, to the stillness, really. And I experience very beautiful travelings during actually that very deep meditation and relaxation, also during the yin yoga practices, especially after my father passed away. Yes, it was very, very beautiful. I'm thinking if I will share something with you. Now, actually, a couple of weeks after my father passed away, I feel to go back to the mat. I think actually 3 or 4 weeks or 6 weeks after his passing. So I was back on the mat. It feels very good, actually. And then yes, during the practice, I really don't know which poses we did, but I went very deep into my relaxation / meditation. And in a couple of yoga practices I did, I think the first 2, 3 or 4, actually he came across to show me really what his traveling was from the earth to heaven. So that was actually very special. And then after, I was thinking, was that real, or was that a dream or an imagination? But he really showed me how his traveling was in sort of pictures or silence movies. And then that was very, very special. So after, I felt myself a little bit weird. Was it real or not? But it came in phases. So every class, there was the new chapter he showed me. In one of the last chapters during the yin yoga practice, that was still close to the day that my father passed away, he showed me the place where he was at that moment, and it was so special. It's look like when the sky is pink, and I saw the crystal, the amethyst, and a lot of flowers, only flowers in beautiful colors. So that was very beautiful and special. So I think, okay, that maybe it was a dream or something else. And then months later, I did for the first time in 1 hour sound healing practice. And then that same pictures came around of the amethyst crystal, I saw a lot of flowers, actually really the same pictures he showed me when he just passed away. So I really didn't understand why that came across. But a couple of weeks later, or actually a couple of days, I know this message. Yeah, I will soon make another episode about the connection I still have with my father that's passed away. Let me know if you are interested about it. So I got the same pictures, the stillness movies during the sound healing practice, and I didn't understand. But what was the message of it? A couple of days later, my cousin passed away. My cousin from my father family line. So that was very, very intense to experience and to know. But then at that moment, I realized that everything that I experienced during the deep, very deep meditations, during the yin yoga practice, and during the sound healing practice, it was not fake. So actually very special. Actually, after that experience of the sound healing, 1 hour sound healing, and the pictures and stillness moves I got, and a couple of days later my cousin passed away. That was the turning, the point that I really feel this is the moment to sign up for the sound healing course, because what I experienced during yin yoga and sound healing, that was very crazy in a very special way. So actually 1 month after his passing from my cousin, I had my first course, and then in that month I did 2 more courses, and slowly I created my sound healing instruments, babies, family. Now I have much and there's more coming. But very positive and very beautiful. Also with the intention to help others, to maybe not to go that deep, only if it fits them personal, but to help others to experience a deep state of relaxation and take a moment to rest and take a moment to connect with yourself in the way that fits for you on the mat. And then at the end of that year, so 8 months later, after my first sound healing course, I start to guide my first sound bath. That was really awkward, of course, but yes, you have to start somewhere, because I really want to, yes, what I said, to help others in their personal paths on this planet. And I didn't, when you told me 5 years ago there is something like sound healing, I didn't believe you. I didn't know what it was, but sound healing came across on my path by during practicing yin yoga. So it's very beautiful how it flows. And then last year, so 1 year ago, I did my yin yoga training. First I did a yoga nidra training, which was beautiful as well, and then my yin yoga training, and then I learned more, or actually everything what I had experienced before, but I did know that it was actually sort of good to experience that during a yin yoga practice. I get the answers of it, actually of everything that I had experienced before I ever knew about the deeper meaning of yin yoga. So yes, that make the circles round, we say in Dutch. And now I'm also a guide in yin yoga and sound healing as well. And soon actually I will start to do also one-on-one treatments, one-on-one, so private treatments, and to go actually deeper where you can where you it's a sound healing massage, so the balls will be on your body and it's really magical. I'm doing the course and I actually also experience very magical things. Actually, 1 year ago when I started August 2024 my yoga nidra course, that was the moment where my deep purifying starts actually by having. So actually 1 year ago in August 2024 when I started my yoga nidra training, a summer course of 4 days, that week on the Monday I did a practice yin yoga with Reiki, so I received Reiki as well. And that evening, that night, I start with a lot of belly pain, throw up more than 10-20 times. So it was a very intense night. And later I told the teacher, actually a colleague of me from the studio, that it really felt like a sort of labor. Yes, I never went in labor, but that pain, it was very intense. And so I thought, all right, so now it's over. And then 1 month later I start my yin yoga practice, and in the first weekend it was 3 days. For 4 weekends it was 3 days. I think it was the first weekend and the last day, the third day, I experienced the same. Early in the morning I was there in the studio and I felt myself become sick, throw up in the toilet of the studio, and my whole body was sort of flipping, and I felt myself so becoming sick, so out of my body or something. So sadly I choose to leave the course day, but yeah, it was what it was. And then the other 3 weekends everything went well. So I end my training positive at the end. And then after a couple of months later I had the same, but I didn't practice yoga. I think it was 1.5 week or 1 week before I had my appendicitis error removal. My sister, it was her birthday, and she cooked so nice, and I really loved the food, so I eat it. And what was very strange, that in the night, late evening, in the night, I had the same experience. And I was, what is this? Because I really love the food. I really love noodles. She made it so nice and I really enjoy it. But everything was throwing up again. And I didn't understand. And then 1 week later I had an appendicitis removal. So now... but also... Oh yeah, that was what I was telling. So during the yin yoga trainings, around the yin yoga yoga trainings, and I start with the sound healing course for the 1-1 treatment in February. So in February and March I experienced the massage also on myself, and also received Reiki from my from a lady who was learning with me. And then 4 weeks later I had my appendicitis removal. So, and we learned also special techniques, and she put it of course also on me, and that really helps me now to go physical deeper for the appendicitis removal. And in in June, I was back for the next chapter, and there I was in a duo with my teacher, and he let me know which techniques he used, and then everything was landing in myself, and I choose this path, my soul path. Everything was landing and was out of my mind, but really in the body and in my heart. So actually what I told you in the podcast before, following my soul path now. So that is very deep and very special. So soon you can book a treatment if you want to. I think around fall or September, October, I will start with it. So this is my yoga and my sound healing journey, and now actually I'm also doing a restorative yoga teacher training online, which I really like, and I'm already touched by it in the first course of the 5. So it really touched me, and I'm looking forward to continue, and I'm very blessed. I say it sometimes to my mother that I can believe that what I'm doing, guiding other people during sound bath or yin yoga or yoga nidra, or a combination of it, and soon also the one-on-one treatments, I can believe that I am doing that because it's so magical, and actually I cannot believe it, but it's very beautiful, and I feel myself very, very grounded on the mat. Then I feel really the connection with the earth and everything that's flying around, let's say it like that. If you are living in Amsterdam and you are curious about the practices I guide, you can check my Instagram. You can check my channels below in the description box, and then you can book your class if you like to. And soon in September 14 on Sunday, I will have I organize a little event, a crystal sound bath. So I bring all my crystal balls to the studio, and I will guide you through a 75-minute sound bath, which is very beautiful because this whole journey also about yoga and sound healing is all connected to my Heavenly Father now. So I think the next episode will I think it will be about that, my connection with my Father in heaven. I think that's beautiful. Yeah, and I'm also excited to record, but not today. You can check everything in my description box here. And I think this is the end of the 3rd solo podcast from Studio Rumah Manis. This is my story about my yoga and sound healing journey, and I'm really curious if you practicing yoga or sound healing or maybe something else, how it came through you on your paths on earth and how you experience it. I want to thank you so much for listening, and if you are here on YouTube, thank you for watching as well. I'm very curious about your story. Let me know in the comments if you like. You are always welcome to subscribe on my channels. Thank you so much, and hope to see you in the next episodes again. Bye.